guests who are involved in businesses and don't sometimes recognize what the business opportunities are here in Jamaica and how to finance it. And we'd have later on, we are very gracious to have the guest, Mr. David Wan, who is the Managing Director of the Development Bank of Jamaica, who is our guest speaker this evening. And he's going to share some of his insight into that area. So we're also grateful for his presence. And he will be sharing us how we can become better businessmen and hopefully better people at the same time. So also, I should mention that this evening we're double privileged to have the distinguished a newly installed Lieutenant Governor Sharon Usim joining us this evening. For those who are new to Kiwanis, she's the Lieutenant Governor for District 23 Central, which involves a number of clubs, including Kingston Club of Kingston. I don't know if I can go through all of them because I don't want to leave out any, but there's 23 Central, there's 23 West, and 23 East. We are a part of 23 East, so we hold LG Sharon as one of our own, and we are working a symbiotic relationship where her goals, she'll share her goals as Lieutenant Governor, and we will share our goals, and we try and work with one another in a symbiotic, supportive role. So our goals are to support her Lieutenant Governorship, as well as she's also going to provide support for us on a club level so that we can achieve our goals. So I'm glad to have LG Sharon here. She's not going to be able to stay for the whole meeting, but I'm going to allow her to share with you some of her goals and bring her greetings. Newly appointed LG Sharon, welcome, and the microphone is yours.
Thank you so much, President Stephen.
Yes.
Put on my camera. Thank you so much. So, President Stephen and all the other distinguished members of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, Mr. David Wan, your guest speaker for the evening, visiting Kiwanians, guests, good evening to you all. Happy Kiwanis New Year. It is indeed my honor and distinct pleasure to be afforded the opportunity to bring greetings on behalf of our awesome Division 23 Central. First, let me congratulate you, President Stephen, your officers, your directors, and chairmen on your elections and appointments. I am confident that you will have an awesome year of service, of growth, fun, yes, those smiles, and fellowship. To the outgoing team, I congratulate you on your successful year of service and salute you for your dedication and commitment to improving the lives of our children. As we welcome a new Kiwanis here and embark on this exciting journey together, let us embrace the opportunities afforded us to impact the lives of our children through service, and more service. The divisional theme for this year is simply empower, inspire, transform, united in service. Your division wants you to be empowered and inspired so that you can, through your service and leadership, transform the lives of children and communities. I have heard some of the plans of President Stephen, and I believe that exciting times are ahead for the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. I'm sure that under the leadership of your president, the club will find the right balance between youth and experience as you seek to achieve your goal. The start of a new year is always a good time to reflect. Reflect and take stock a little bit of where you are, where you want to go, and how you plan to get there. As we look forward to all that this new Kiwanis year brings, I encourage you to recommit to doing all that you can to support your president, take your roles and assignments seriously, be patient with each other, and enjoy fun and fellowship together. I encourage you to embrace new and different approaches to recruiting, retaining, and engaging your members. and to focus on identifying projects that can really transform the lives of children, even one child. So let us aim for quality rather than quantity and seek maximum impact in our service delivery. I'm encouraging collaboration with your division and across divisions. We are one Kiwanis family. So I wish for you a successful, transformative year of leadership, growth, and service. Once again, Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, LG Sharon. Thank you for the warm greetings and the inspiration. Just for everybody's benefit, you said that the theme this year is 3 areas. Is it empower,
Inspire,
and service?
And transform.
Yes.
And then united in service, and that we are united in service.
Okay.
Yeah, because a big part of the year is collaboration amongst the clubs, amongst the divisions, right?
Okay. All duly noted. Thank you very much, and we hope that we can live up to your expectations. I know your standards are very high.
Will. We are in this together.
Yeah, agreed. We are there. We're there with you. And congratulations again on your appointment.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can just put a hand clap emoji for LG Sharon, those who can. Glad to have her here. I know she'll stay around for a little bit, but I know she has previous commitments, so she may leave us a little later on, but we're grateful for her presentation at this point. So I'm going to move on now. I'm going to apologies for absence. I know that I should first of all extend apologies for absence for our president-elect, Garfield Wint, who was unable to make this meeting, so he sends his apologies, but we will soon meet and greet President-elect Garfield and get to know him well as he fills in his new role. President Willie, is there any other apologies for absence from Kiwanis Club of Kingston?
Yes, President Stephen, we have apology from District Trustee Ralston Nunes, who is at a meeting of a higher calling.
Yes.
And of course, our treasurer is currently in Grand Cayman.
Right, that's Treasurer Orville.
Sends their regards.
Okay.
And President Stephen, there's also an apology from Andy St. John.
Yeah, Kiwanian Andy John St. John.
Baptiste.
Andy John Baptiste, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all those Kiwanians who are unable to make it. We appreciate when you send your apologies, because at least that tells us you are aware of the meeting, and at least that you've taken the time to tell us that you're unable to attend. So we appreciate all of the apologies. Now we're going to come to welcome and introductions of other members and clubs. It's going to be an interesting switch because I'm going to now throw to IPP. It sounds strange, but past President Newton Ramdiel, who will fill that role for this evening, having stepped down from his successful year in office. But we're calling on him. He hasn't given up on Kiwanis Club of Kingston. He's still very much around and still much a part of it. IPP Newton, are you there?
I am here live and in living color, President Stephen.
Over to you in a strange twist of turn.
And I must tell you, sir, with me and the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, I remember one politician famously said some time ago that he will not, even when he has to be pushed into parliament in a wheelchair, he will still be coming. Well, it's the same thing with me. Even when I'm coming to the Kiwanis meeting in a wheelchair, I will still be here, sir.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, President Stephen. Good evening, everyone. Well, mine is the pleasure to do the welcome this evening. And I would want to start off by welcoming President Stephen and his new administration in their role. I know this is not part of welcome, sir, but I just want to say, if once you get the support, your administration will enjoy what is to come. And I want to say that I personally pledge my continued support and my service to the club, to your administration. And I promise you here in front of everybody, I will do it with a smile. So I think your service, support, and smile is right up my alley. You can count on me. All right. I also want to welcome our guest speaker, Mr. David Wan, who is going to teach us all how to make some money. Because that's the only thing that is lacking with most Jamaican, but I know someone else will be doing that. Welcome. I know LG Sharon probably has run by now, but I just want to say welcome, LG. I too pledge you my support, and I see that IPLG Desmond is all smiles this evening, looking fresh. And I know he enjoyed this year, but I know it was a whole lot of weight on his shoulder. You did well, sir, and we're proud to say that you're from the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, and you did hold up your duties high.
Thank you, President.
Okay. Now, in terms of Kiwanis clubs that may be on tonight, let's start with those clubs that are outside of Jamaica. Is there any Kiwanis club outside of Jamaica with us tonight?
Good night.
Good night.
Secretary Lisa from the Kiwanis Club of Toronto, Caribbean.
Okay. Nice to have you, Secretary Lisa. Do you have other members of your club tonight, or you're keeping us all for yourself?
I'm all for you guys.
Okay, and I'll tell you a secret. You have us. Don't tell it to people, but you have us. Thanks for joining.
Our secret. Okay.
Okay. Any other club outside of Jamaica? Okay. What about in Division 25? We have what? We have 44 persons online. Is there anybody out of that 44 from Division 25? Okay, how about Division 24? Division 24? Any Kiwanis club from Division 24? Okay, moving on to 23 East. Do we have any member from 23 East?
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
My name is Naja Allen, Secretary of Kiwanis Club of Papine. We are glad to be here tonight, and we look forward to the rest of the meeting. Along with me here are two other members from my club. So it's
Thank you, Secretary Naja, and your delegation. Really glad you could join us tonight. I'm pretty sure you have heard of Mr. Wan, and you know that he knows what he's going to be talking about. And I hope within a year time, you will be saying you're rich because you attended this meeting tonight and you put some of what you're hearing into practice. Anyone else? Okay. Anyone else from Division 23 East?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is DLG Bear from the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston. I bring you very special greetings and congratulations to the past administration and, of course, President Stephen. Wishing you all the best for the new administration, sir. And we know you're going to have a fantastic year. I am here this evening in the capacity of your club coach and, of course, IPP Newton. I'm happy to be here, looking forward to the year, going through coaching with Kingston Club. I know you guys don't need a lot of that, but I will be here. I'll be around to be there for you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you, DLG Bev. And one of the things I'm pretty sure you know about the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. We never let our ego get in the way. So even though we have achieved a lot, we always welcome any help we can get. And I know you're going to be a great club coach for us.
And I'm sure in the process I'll be learning some things too from you. So I'm looking forward to it. Yes. Thank you.
One of the things you can probably do is teach DLG Willie to play golf. Because I hear you putting on golf tournament.
On Friday, on Saturday, you can come along, of course. Willie, you heard that?
Yes, I did.
All right.
All right. Any other club from 23 East?
Yes, good night. Good night, President IPP Bruton and President Stephen. IPP Garfield here from Kiwanis Club of St. Andrew Southern Professionals Online. I'm seeing one other person on with me. I expect others to join. But congrats on a successful year, IPP, and all the best to you and team, President Stephen, for this coming year. I look forward to a very informative meeting. I've actually worked with David one in the past. You probably don't know me, don't remember me rather, but looking forward to a very informative meeting. All the best.
Thank you, IPP Garfield. And as you know, you say you've worked with Mr. Wan in the past, so I know you know what we are in for this evening. Thanks to you and your delegation for joining us tonight, and I'm pretty sure you are going to have a very fruitful evening. Thanks again for joining us with your delegation.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other
Good
club?
evening. Good evening, everyone.
Go
Fellow
ahead.
Kiwanis and guests, this is IPP Pansita Walker from the Kiwanis School of Trafalgar. We're 3 numbers, a delegation of 3, looking forward to a wonderful and interactive meeting. Thanks for the invite and all the best to the new board.
Thank you and your delegation for joining us, IPP Pansita. And you know it's always an open invitation. Always happy to have you and your delegation with us.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Any other club from Division 23 West? Okay, how about Division 23 Central?
Good evening, IPP Newton.
Good evening.
This is President Claudine. Oh boy, the sound of that to my ears. President Claudine from the Kiwanis Club of West St. Andrew. I recognize a particular lilt in your voice this evening. Is that one of relief or joy?
I tell you something. The entire year was fun. So
yes.
it's not of relief. It's just a continuation of what has been happening ever since
Fully
I joined the Kiwanis Club of Kingston.
I also look forward to next year this time to have that same lilt in my voice. Congratulations to you, sir, on a year well spent. It is now for Stephen and the rest of the cohort for 24-25 to take the mantle forward. We are 6 members of my club joining you this evening. It is always a privilege to join the Kiwanis Club of Kingston.
Well, I tell you, with six members, it shows that you have started out very strong, and I think I'm not talking out of turn when I say on behalf of President Stephen that we will be here to support in any way we can, just as I know you are going to support us in any way you can.
Fully receiving, sir. Fully receiving. Thank you.
And I tell you, President Claudine, you're going to have fun. You're going to have
I see it. Yes. I see it, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, sir.
Glad you could join us this evening.
You're welcome.
You and your delegation. Any other club from Division 23 Central? How about SLPs? Do we have any SLP with us?
Good evening, IPP Newton. How are you?
Dr. Eurydice.
How are you doing? How are you?
I am great, Dr. Eurydice. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Great.
Just calling to one, congratulations.
Oh, we're not, you broke, we lost you.
Welcoming President Newton. Oh, really? I apologize.
Okay, we're hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah. Right, I'm congratulating on you on your year complete. Then I'm congratulating President Stephen on the beginning of his year and wishing you both all the best for the new year. And at this time we have a delegation of 2, myself and guess who? IPLG Desmond. Oh dear, can you imagine the sound of that? IPLG Desmond. So we have a delegation of 2. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to this meeting. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Eurydice. And it's okay. You soon will stop saying IPLG and be saying DLG, Desmond. So don't worry. You don't have to say IPLG for too long.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. All right. Any other club from 23 Central? Or SLPs? We were at SLPs.
No, did you leave out West?
No, I did go West.
So we have a good contingency
evening,
from
everyone.
Portmore.
Okay.
IPP.
Hi,
Good
DP
evening,
Paulette.
this is DP Paulette.
Hi, DP Paulette.
Congratulations on a wonderful year.
It was
And
wonderful.
we look forward to doing lots more with Kingston Club. IPLG Desmond, it was good, it was fun, it was fellowship, it was projects. And we, on behalf of President Telma, I think she's having a little problem with her microphone, so she's asked me to let you know, KC Fab is online, and we have presently 3 in the delegation, and others are hurrying to get on. So thanks for the invitation.
Okay, and you know it's always an open invitation because we're always happy to have you. Before I go back to guests, is there any Kiwanis Club online that I might have, maybe your mic wouldn't open, or maybe I forgot to call your division? Is there any other Kiwanis Club online that needs to introduce you and your delegation? Please go ahead.
Hi, good night. My name is Shanice Williams, and I'm from Kiwanis Club of Barbersham.
You're from Kiwanis Club of?
Barbican.
Oh, Barbican. Okay, great. Welcome. Glad you could join us.
IPP Newton, Secretary Lisa, joined by Kwanya and Vienna. So we're now 2 in numbers.
Okay, great. I hope by the time Mr. One is speaking, you'll tell me you're 10 in numbers, but happy to have you.
I hope so too.
Okay, great. All right. Any SLPs?
Okay, before SLP, let me just bring greetings from our club.
Yes.
The great club of Portmore, Kiwanis Club of Portmore. And
Yes.
we bring you greetings and wish you your club all the best for this new administrative year. And presently we are 5 in numbers, and I'm DP Donnell. And thanks for the invite.
Always DP Donnell. Always glad to have your delegation from, I'll make sure I say it as you said it, the great club of Portmore, right?
Amen.
It is, right? Always happy to have you, sir. Open invitation to you and your delegation every week, every Tuesday.
It's a meeting today.
Right. Any other club?
Yes, IPP. Good evening.
Go ahead.
I'm IPP Derek from the Kiwanis Club of Spanish Town. And I'm alone at the moment, and I just want to bring greetings to my club and to wish your incoming admin all the best for the new admin year.
Okay, IPP Derek. Thank you for the wishes. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for having hosted me at your club home in Spanish Town. We enjoyed that visit that DLG Willie and I made. Happy you're here with us this evening.
Okay, so you're so welcome.
All right.
IPP Newton.
Hello.
May I introduce, I think I see our DLG Gerslin, who is online. Gerslin has joined us. I don't think there's anyone else at this time.
Okay. The only thing that I have to do is I have to correct you on one thing. DLG Gertlin is actually a member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, you see.
Oh, I didn't know.
She doesn't need any introduction.
I tried to find out how she got there.
IPP Newton, that would be the day. Thank you so
much. She doesn't need any introduction. That's our big secret at the Kiwanis Club of Kingston.
All right.
Okay.
Very much. All the best. I see you're having a great time tonight.
I shall tell my Sarge about this.
It's all right. I can manage. Willie will agree with that. IPP Newton, I'm sure I see you having a lot of fun.
Oh, yes, I am.
It shows that you had a wonderful, exciting time.
The fun continues.
And I know you're going to continue because President Steve is looking forward to your sitting right beside him, toe to toe with everything that is going to happen. And I know he's going to have a wonderful year as well, and lots of excitement to come. Have fun, enjoy yourself. Great to join your meeting.
You know that us who join Kiwanis for the right reason. We always have fun.
Always have fun.
Always.
Hear how we claim that, Nancy. We are going to have fun always.
True,
and
definitely.
Let us pray. I didn't join on time, so let us pray for DG Trevor Dunn. He's in hospital, but they're not taking visitors now. He had a stroke, so please let us bear him up in our prayers.
Okay, we certainly will, DLG, and thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Are there any guests? Are there any guests of Kiwanians online tonight?
Vanessa Hamilton Mendez, Kiwanis Club of Young Professionals, St. Catherine.
Okay.
I'm alone this evening.
Okay, but again, I don't want it to sound a way that I keep correcting people, but you are never alone when you're in a Kiwanis Club of Kingston meeting. So
thank you for that reminder.
You may be the only member from your club, but you are never alone. You're always amongst friends.
Great.
All right, welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Any guests? Okay.
Hi, good afternoon.
Go ahead.
I am here with Miss Mendez. I'm also from the Kiwanis Club of Young Professionals, St. Catherine.
Okay. And you're novelette authors, right?
Authors. Yes, I am.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you for being here with me, novelette. Thank you so much.
All right.
And thank you for being here with us.
Great. Thanks for the invite.
Okay. Hope you and your voice sounds pretty young. So I'm pretty sure if you put what Mr. One is going to tell you this evening into play, you can probably retire by the time you reach 40.
I am way past that.
I'm looking forward to
that. Well, if you're past that, I want you to send a bottle of the water that you're drinking to me, you see. so I can try a thing. All right. Any visitors, any guests? No? All right. Well, at this time, so go ahead.
My daughter is online. You can see her online there. Her name is
your daughter is online. Well,
yes.
I am going to take the liberty of saying Miss One.
Oh, she's Mrs. something else, but
okay, Mrs. From Christine One to everyone. Well, guess what happened? In Kiwanis, we never make a mistake because we call everybody by their first name. So, Lady Christine, glad you're here with us this evening. Glad you're sharing your dad with us, so that some of us can move up in life also. So, I hope you will have a wonderful time.
It's Christina.
It's Christina, not Christine. Yes. Okay, it just flashed on my screen. Christina.
Close enough.
All right. Oh, and I see she's all coming to us all the way from Atlanta. All right, great to have you. Great to have you. I'm pretty sure you had a great mentor growing up, and we're going to learn some of the things that you'll learn at his feet. So nice to have you with us this evening. Any other guests? All right. No, I know you didn't come to hear me talk this evening. You came to hear Mr. One. So I just want to say to everyone who is online, welcome. We're glad to have you, all 52 of you. We're glad to have you. We do this every Tuesday evening, and you're always welcome. It's an open invitation, and if you miss anything, we also have a YouTube channel on which everything that we do is posted. So you can go there if you want to go and listen to something that Mr. One said this evening that you didn't get right, or you want to hear it again, it will be posted. It won't be lost. So welcome, sit back, relax, I'm pretty sure you're going to have a wonderful time. And at this point, I will pass the microphone over to...
I was going to tell you, yes, don't pass it back to me just yet, IP Newton. I was going to say, since you're there, just transition and quickly, if there are any birthdays this week.
Okay.
Quickly share that part of the program.
Okay, let me do that. And I'll do it much faster than the welcome. Because this week we have one person. We have past President Victor McFarlane, whose birthday is on the 5th of October. And he's a smart man. In order not to forget his anniversary, he got married on his birthday. So he and his wife, Jacqueline, also celebrate their anniversary on the 5th of October. So if you might, I'm asking those who know past President Victor McFarlane and Jacqueline, please give him a call to say happy birthday and happy anniversary. And also to remind him that the 5th is his anniversary. Because you know us men need a reminder sometime. So it is back to you, President Stephen. And I must say, sir, since it's the last time I'm having the microphone for tonight, you really look smart in your jacket.
Yes, I have to represent for the gentleman.
All right, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much, IPP Newton. Always a pleasure, always on top of things, and always brings that energy that we are planning to build on at the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Next, we have immediate past Lieutenant Governor, looking very relaxed, as somebody said, Desmond Batchelor, a member of our club as well as other clubs. He fills many roles, and he's going to bring to us Kiwanis education this evening. So quickly, over to you, IPLG, Desmond, to share.
Thank you, President Stephen. Let me say thank you, IPP Newton, for a good year, and thank you for your support. Welcome, President Stephen and your board, sir, and I wish for you all the best for the new year. Kiwanis Education, the Board of Directors is composed of directors and officers elected to manage the affairs of clubs. The board handles most of the business of the club by overseeing the implementation of its bylaws and policies. It sets strategic directions, approves the club's budget and optional policies, ensures the club meets its financial obligations, including annual review of financial statements by either the Standing Financial Review Committee or by a qualified accounting firm. It approves the admission of new members into the club, suspends or removes members not in good standing. It determines the frequency of meetings, appoints standing committees, approve the club's official bank account and its signatories. The board approves the club's secretary's position on the appointment of the president if not elected. Note that no board member can occupy more than one position on the board, but if the secretary and treasurer's positions are combined, this secretary position will be by election only. Finally, it is responsible for making prompt payments to Kiwanis International and the district, and also is responsible for managing disciplinary matters affecting members. That is it, President and fellow Kiwanians and guests, for Kiwanis education. Thank you. Over to you, President.
Yes, thank you very much, IPLG, Desmond. Very timely at this time, the discussion on the board and its responsibilities pursuant to Kiwanis International. So thank you for that. I hope people heard it and appreciate what needs to be done as we begin the new administrative year. So next, I'm going to throw to our club meetings chairman, distinguished President Stuart Spencer, who will be able to introduce our guest speaker, what a lot of people have come here to see. So over to you, if you're hearing me, DP Stu.
Oh, President Stephen, it's not me who's going to do that.
Yes, sorry, yes.
DP Rupert will do the introduction, and he's standing by quite ready to do that. I wouldn't want to deprive
DP
him.
Rupert, okay, DP Rupert. Thank you for turning out, and I'll give you the privilege of introducing our guest speaker this evening, Mr. David Wan.
Thank you, Prez.
No problem.
Good evening, fellow Kiwanians, friends. I know most Jamaicans would have heard, even if we haven't met Mr. Wan in person. Most of us would have heard his name somewhere along the line, especially over the past 5-10 years as one of the key persons in managing employment and the companies of Jamaica as the president of the Employers Federation. But this evening, being the first meeting of our new Kiwanis year, I think it's so fitting and it's a privilege to have Mr. Wan to present to us on small business opportunities and how to finance them. You know, small businesses create jobs, drive innovation, and boost economic growth. And if there's a time that Jamaica needs small businesses, it's now. We all hear about MSMEs, medium, small, and micro enterprises. And he's going to be talking to us, giving us tips. He's going to be telling us what we can do. Because if Jamaica's economy, we those of us who follow it, follow the numbers, recently we heard that the figures for growth have been downgraded somewhat. The long-term prospect is for us to grow at about 2%, but most of the businesses are small businesses, and we need more of them. So tonight, I hope after Mr. Wan is finished, some of us will decide to get into business and start small, because usually businesses start small and then go on to be large. Mr. Wan is a seasoned executive with local, regional, and global experience in financial services, finance restructuring, business development, and corporate governance. He has worked here in Jamaica, in the United States, all over the Caribbean, and presently, he is the general manager in charge of credit enhancement facility division at the Development Bank of Jamaica. So I suspect they have some special things for small businesses. So tell us before you leave here this evening, Sir David, I haven't seen you in a long time, but tell us some of the ways that we can start and how we can get funding. Welcome, sir. We are so happy to have you. May you have a good time talking with us.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for that nice introduction. Really appreciate it. President Stephen, thank you for the invitation to speak to your group this evening. I hope to share some interesting information with you that may be helpful, hope is helpful. And IPP, the other gentleman from a few minutes ago, he was making such kind remarks.
Yes. Rambia.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you. So I was asked to speak a little about SMEs, and what I want to do is to share some things with you in terms of how we define SME. And believe me, it's important, because at DBJ, we have the multilateral money that really has some specifics around who you can lend this money to. And if you don't meet this criteria, unfortunately, you can't get some of the services of DBJ. So I'll talk a little about that, talk a little about the obstacles that most MSMEs face in accessing credit and getting the loans to expand business, to start their business, etc. Then I'm going to do a little dive into, in the last 21 months, I'm going to take you through some of the lending that our partners have done with us that shows you what sort of industries are really buoyant. It's going to show you things to do with geography, where they are, It's going to tell you about the, types of things that are really, really buoyant. They're getting a lot of the credit that's being administered by the banks. And then I tell you a little about DBJ products and services. And then some question and answers. So hopefully you're going to find this quite interesting and informative. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Is that visible?
It's coming up. Yes, it is.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. So let me just shrink this thing here and start up the slideshow. All right. So as I said, I'm going to talk a little about it. This term SME is also called MSME. So it's synonymous. It is small and medium enterprises, micro, small, medium. So talk a little about the definition, some lending patterns where credit's being granted, some obstacles to accessing finance, and of course, DBJ. All right. So that's the quick agenda, including our products and services. All right. So how do we define SMEs? The Ministry of Industry is the arbiter of what's an SME or MSME. Both terms are the same. The big factor is how large is the company in terms of revenue. Now, the Ministry of Industry sets this figure. From time to time, it changes because of inflation, but right now, this figure is set at gross revenue of 426 million per year. If your company has more gross revenue than this, a lot of the services that we offer that get funded by the IDB and the World Bank, unfortunately, you can't access because the thinking is we need to give the very small companies a chance to grow. If you already passed this benchmark of 426 million, then you're deemed as, you're well on the way. So you may not need as much help as those who are below this figure. That's where it is right now. There are 4 categories of MSMEs: micro, small, medium, and large. And those are defined by revenue as well as number of employees. But at the very top, it's 426 million. Now, some of the main obstacles to accessing finance by the SMEs. The first and foremost and most common one is they don't have proper financial statements and records. Whenever you're trying to get money from a bank to borrow, or an investor who wants to buy shares in a company, no one is going to put money into your company if they can't see what your current state is and what your history has been. Just doesn't work that way. Nobody puts in money into companies or invests in loans or shares if they can't see what your accurate financial position is and what your last couple of years have been. Another reason that is an obstacle to accessing finance for small companies is informality. A lot of the small businesses with good ideas, they have just never bothered to establish themselves as a sole trader or as a limited liability company or some kind of partnership. You have to be registered at the company's office, not necessarily at the limited liability company level, but you could register as a sole trader. And that's, less burdensome compliance, but that's another way to become formal. And then the other one is lack of collateral to secure loans from the traditional banking sector. Most banks, even if you have a project that is very sound and can generate monthly payments to service debt, the banks typically will still want something to secure the loan, whether it's your real estate you own or real estate the company owns, or some high quality collateral. The building that you operate from, they may want to have a lien on that. So a lot of SMEs don't have enough collateral despite having a good project that can demonstrate that you can service a debt, yet the banks are many times unwilling to lend to that project. All right. And a lot of entrepreneurs, say they have a company and they are looking to borrow from the company, borrow from a bank into the company. They tend to be hesitant to put up their own personal assets because that's the whole reason you have limited liability companies. You don't want, in the worst case, that something goes wrong. Then you lose your house and you lose your personal possessions. So that's a real factor. All right. So that is a quick overview of what's an SME. As I said, I want to now get into, in the last 21 months, all of 2023 and to September 2024, I pulled up some data I'm going to share with you that helps you to understand where are the banks lending money, what industries, etc. And I think you'll find it very informative. All right. So during the period January 2023 to September 2024, we joined hands with all of the banks, and they've made 727 loans to various types of business. Now, the top category at 40 of the 727 loans was the supermarkets. And that's tied with people in the textile, clothing, and footwear business. And these are all SMEs, by the way, all SMEs. And going down the line is the auto parts and then motor vehicles, not motor vehicles that you buy for personal consumption. These are motor vehicle dealers who are financing their business to sell motor vehicles. Then professional services, which is medical, dental, etc. kind of services, and then restaurants. These are the top categories of the loans lent out of the 727 loans over the last 21 months. So at first glance, you might say, well, supermarkets are able to get credit. They're the largest category. It may be, if I'm thinking of getting into business, maybe that's something I want to think about. But let's drill down a little further. There's going to be a little twist to this data. You look at those 40 loans made to supermarkets in the last 21 months. Rural was 83% and Kingston was 18%. So what that says is that a lot more buoyancy in terms of companies getting credit is in the rural areas. Kingston may well be saturated with the big players. So if you're an SME with a supermarket, it sounds like, based on this data, that you probably have better chances in the rural areas. Now, with today's network of highways on the South Coast, on the North Coast, on the North-South Highway, it is much easier for you to be an entrepreneur and have 2 or 3 locations because you can get to, the major town centers very easily. And it is not as difficult as it was in the past to be an SME and offer and do business in Ocho Rios or Mandeville. It's very easy to reach now. So I think this is probably a factor in this also, where so much of the credit to supermarkets from our partners is gone to the rural areas. Let's take a look at textile, clothing, and footwear loans. 40 out of the 727 were granted to textile, clothing, and footwear. But you see a different twist here now. Kingston is more than half of these, and the rural areas, 45%. So it's a much different twist to the whole, where are these businesses? So what this says to me is that probably the income, average income in Kingston, to be able to afford, fancier clothing and footwear is what is driving this. Whereas in the supermarkets, we're talking about purchase of basic items, which is not so driven by the higher average incomes in the Kingston area. So this tells you a little different story. Let's drill down further. Auto parts. Again, of the 38 loans made in the last 21 months, almost 90% were to rural auto parts enterprises. Kingston was only 4. It's 11%. This is a strong, strong bias towards the rural areas. It's probably the big players are in Kingston, well established, and they may not be focusing on the business possibilities in the rural areas. The number of cars in Jamaica has increased exponentially in the last, 5-10 years. It's not like before where you could only import new cars. So this is an area that is quite buoyant, getting lots of credit, again, with this rural bias. Let's look at motor vehicle dealers. Of the 34 loans, 74% were to rural, again, showing, this big skew towards the rural areas. It's a pattern that is definitely consistent across many sectors. The clothing and footwear was one of the exceptions. So what am I saying all this? The patterns here say that supermarkets and auto and parts dealers and restaurants are very active borrowers, but with a heavy rural slant. And the clothing and footwear, oh, I lost my screen. Sorry, 1 second. Is the screen still visible?
Yes, your screen is up.
Yes, okay, because I have kind of lost my screen here. I'm trying to get it back. Still there?
Yes.
All right, good. I just got back my screen. So let's keep going down. Oh boy, I'm getting technical difficulties here. All right, let's keep going. I tell you what, I'm gonna stop and start again because I can't control the screen. I have to stop and restart. Back where we are right now. Stop. Share. All right. I take this back down to where you can see it again, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So that's it on some of the details of who's been getting loans, etc. Now let's go to some DBJ products and services. We have a lot of services. Capacity building is one of those, whereby we offer 70% of the cost of capacity building for micro and small companies. Meaning, if you want to be able to get trained on how to get your books together, how to put your accounting system together, we will find an expert in that, and you will pay 70% of the cost of that. So capacity building for small companies. We help them to figure out how to do business plans, how to keep your books proper, how to do marketing plans, etc. We also have innovation grants. Companies that can demonstrate that they have an innovative process where they're taking a new approach to an existing market, or they're, redesigning their products so it's much more saleable. We will give you grants for that. It's an application process. We have lots of applications each year, and it's a process by which we identify the most innovative companies that will get grants from us to execute their innovation that they have planned. We'll also have credit guarantees. This one is where the problem I mentioned about lack of collateral. If you have a good project, you're an SME, and you go to the bank and you say, listen, can I get some financing? And the project looks good, but the bank says we need some collateral. That's where we can come in, and we work with all the banks, and we can issue guarantees, which is the same as having collateral. And it has helped thousands of SMEs over the last 10 years to get credit when they have insufficient collateral. It costs something, there's a fee, but it's very modest, and it's been working very well, and the banks really like it because it helps them to generate more credit. And of course, the borrowers are very good, very happy with it, because without it, chances are they wouldn't be able to get credit. So it's our credit guarantee. We offer venture capital, which is, we, for the first time, established a fund. First time in 30 years, there's a venture capital fund in Jamaica. And what this does is that small enterprises just embarking on business, you can get equity investment, meaning we invest in your shares. We're not going to give you a loan. We'll buy shares from you. This has just started recently, and we have not deployed all the money yet. It's a total of 15 million US dollars that's in the fund. That's over 2.3 billion Jamaican dollars. And we're going to be out there. We have hired a fund manager to administer the fund, and he's going to find companies with good business prospects that don't necessarily want loans. They would like you to buy shares from them. And that's what that will do. It's for startup companies. We're also a transaction agent for the government of Jamaica for privatization and public-private partnerships. One of the most recent privatizations was the airport. That was a tender process was undertaken, and a Mexican company emerged as the winner. And what they do is they manage the airport on behalf of the government. So they have a concession. That's an example. A public-private partnership. I don't know if anybody has heard of the Jamaica German Ship Repair Company that just got started about probably 6 months to a year ago, that they repair ships right in the harbor. That's a public-private partnership. We were the transaction agents for that. And loans, the good old loans, we have loans for capital expenditure, loans for machinery purchase, loans for commercial vehicles, loans for factory, warehouse, building, construction, and so on. The loans that we offer are primarily through the banking system as a partner. We call them approved financial institutions. And their customer would like to get a DBJ loan. We give the bank the money, and then the bank unlends that to the ultimate customer. Some of the reasons why they like our loans as opposed to the bank-funded loans is that our interest rates don't get as affected by the Bank of Jamaica policy as do the bank loans. So we get our money from outside of Jamaica, whereas the banks, local banks, have to take deposits from customers and then lend that money. So if the interest rates are high because the BOJ policy is high interest rates, then their loans can be high. But another big advantage of DBJ loans is that we can go up to 12 years, and in some cases even more, whereas most banks probably stop at 7, probably a very few go to 10 years, but we go up to 12 years. And the reason that's good, you must know that if the loan is longer, your monthly payment is less. So it's easier to service that debt. All right. So now let's show you something about DBJ. I hope this works. Let's try it.
In a dynamic world, change is constant, but with change comes opportunities. That's why since 2010, the DBJ has been helping to build Jamaica, injecting $361.1 billion into the local economy. We have also empowered small businesses by facilitating 129,000 loans to MSMEs totaling $64 billion and provided $1.3 billion in grant support to over 4,000 businesses. Through initiatives like the Credit Enhancement Facility, we have provided $13.6 billion in collateral support to over 2,200 businesses. Build your business today. Visit us at dbankjm.com to learn more. DBJ, the business builder.
Okay. And with that, I want to say thank you, and I'm now open for questions.
Question.
Were you able to hear that YouTube video?
Yes, we could hear it.
Okay.
heard it.
All right. So that's a quick run through, ladies and gentlemen. Anything you want to go back to, we can go back and drill down a little further.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's the rate of failure of small and micro enterprises in Jamaica?
All right. We certainly don't have that data at our fingertips. I'm going to give you a sheer guess based on the data I'm seeing. My guess is somewhere about probably 15 to 20% is my guess. Every year, probably 15, 20%. You're not planning to get into business and fail, are you?
Not at all, but I'm interested because I've seen so many companies start up and they drop out of existence in no time.
Yeah. I know. But listen, generally, and I've heard this from many, wise people. If you're getting into any kind of business, whatever industry you're getting into, you can't go in and say, I'm going to just do a Me Too thing. You have to find some edge that will set you apart. Otherwise, you're going to have to compete on price. And when you compete on price, you erode your margins. So you have to find something where you bring value to the consumer. If you just get into the restaurant business and say, I'm just going to offer, the same curry goat, oxtail, and so on at a location, you have to be able to differentiate yourself. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough road. That's my thinking.
Thank you. Good.
Sure.
I noticed you didn't say anything about agriculture. Is that something that is not on your radar?
No, agriculture is very much on our radar, very much so. But I want to share something. The problem with agriculture is that a lot of capacity building is needed, especially at the small and micro level farmers. These farmers tend to know the agriculture business fairly well. They know the technicalities of the crops they're planting. But a lot more is needed in terms of helping those small farmers to become more business oriented. So, for example, there is let's take the cattle business, right? There's a law, a regulation that says you can't import cows from certain regions outside Jamaica. Now, I've heard one farmer saying that, you know, if he could import cows from, I think it was somewhere in Mexico, it is proven that the output of milk from those cows is like 3, 4, 5 times the breed we have in Jamaica, for example. But the regulations don't allow you, some archaic regulations still on the books, don't allow imports of that kind of cow. So that is another factor in addition to the capacity building that's needed. So we have some regulations that need to come off the books. But I want to focus on the agricultural, what you said about if we don't focus on agriculture. We are trying to find a way. There's been a bad experience by most of the financial institutions in Jamaica in lending to agriculture. And again, not at the Jamaica broilers and, you know, the true juice level. Those are highly organized, efficient operations. It is more at the small and micro level where the idea of A, keeping proper records, B, being able to do forecasting and being able to manage the crops in a way that lets you be able to plan cash flows, etc., so that you can service debt. That is the problem, capacity building in the smaller farms. And then a lot of financing will get into agriculture if capacity building becomes more prevalent. I'm not sure I hope you're getting the gist of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'm following it.
Okay.
The term you use, capacity building, initially I thought it meant capacity to produce.
No.
But I understood when you defined it, you know, but it's
Yeah.
just, I just thought the term was the term gave a different impression, but I understand what you meant.
I can see how you might have interpreted that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and believe you me, RADA is trying to do that. The Agricultural Society, I believe, does that, but much more is needed.
But there are other aspects of agriculture. There's the processing part, you know, like the spices and so on, which are kind of manufacturing operations.
Yes.
You don't have people like that come to you?
Yes, we do we call that agribusiness as opposed to agriculture.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of loan, yeah, we do, the banks do, but much more is needed. And, you know, the small farmer, especially those maybe at the subsistence level that sell a little bit of their produce, but mostly consume their own stuff. That is where the capacity building is needed. And some people believe that if you try to get low-cost money right now and put into the agricultural sector, it is a challenge because the chance of those loans going non-performing is increased if you don't build capacity in the farmers before this financing comes to bear.
All right, I have a question I want to explore with you.
Yeah.
You mentioned these categories that were at the top. You mentioned the supermarkets, you mentioned textile, clothing, footwear,
yeah,
auto parts, motor vehicle dealers.
Yes.
All of those are basically import-oriented stuff, which is not produced in Jamaica. You know, I can tell that they're importing the clothes. I mean, I don't know. Well, some people make clothes in Jamaica, but generally speaking, these are import-oriented businesses. Where is the development among people who want to produce something from that is coming out of Jamaica? Even though you explain why agriculture may not be so easy. But where are the others? I mean, wouldn't that be part of the mandate of Development Bank of Jamaica?
Yes, it is absolutely. And I mentioned earlier, innovation grants. That is the area that we stimulate all the people with good ideas and, in manufacturing, creating goods and improving services. Yes, that's how we stimulate the productive sector outside of distribution and services. The two largest sectors that get money from the banking sector in Jamaica: distribution, which is import, you just mentioned it in distribution, and services. Services is very broad. Medical services, if you're all kinds of health, dentists, lawyers, engineers, those are service businesses. So the distribution and services takes up somewhere close to 80% of all the financing in Jamaica. We want to see manufacturing and agriculture take up a larger share. That's why we're doing the innovation grants. That's why we're doing the credit guarantees for those that don't have collateral, that want to get a loan to the business. And we're very conscious that we're trying to, do this for a lot of agriculture and manufacturing. It's going to be a process, but, it is very much on our radar.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions on the floor? Anybody else wants to raise any points? I don't. Oh, so some hands up. DP Dalma, go ahead.
Thank you, DP Stewart. Dr. One.
You're promoting me. That's all right. I'm not a doctor.
You hearing me?
Yes, man, I'm hearing you.
Okay, good. I have a couple points here. Number one, the definition of small business.
Yes.
You define small business almost exclusively based on size.
Yeah, it's not my definition, it's the Ministry of Industry who is the official arbiter of what's a small and micro business.
Understood. But built into that definition is the idea that what we are focusing on is not the stage of development of the business, but rather the size of the business. The stage of development, businesses in the very early stages, innovative stages, in the stages where businessmen are really taking risks, are the ones who are likely to give the bigger impact to the economy, rather than just looking at the size. So my question is, how do you work with that definition so that you're giving the greatest impact to the economy by putting the funds where the larger return or the greater need really is? Where innovation, early development, new business, rather than putting it into a mature small business, which doesn't bring the same impact.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. The problem is how you measure these things. I mean, this metric of gross revenue is merely a very, call it a crude tool for really assessing who's a small business, who's a large business. It doesn't speak to where you are in the stage of innovation, doesn't speak to many things. But think about this. If you're trying to say, let us get funding to companies that are early stage in their innovation, it's a very hard thing to quantify. Very hard. So you would have to come up with something that can tell everyone, I'm, a young company at an early stage, and I need financing more than the ones who are mature and have a certain profit each year. But it's very hard to quantify. So this crude measure, which I agree is not the perfect measure, is the best we have right now. I think the Ministry of Industry, and I'm lobbying them to do this, needs to figure out what else can we put with this revenue figure that really speaks to, here is a much more needy company that needs a support to grow and get domestic production going, as opposed to importing and distributing. It's a work in progress. It's not a perfect tool, but for the time being, we have to live in this world right now. So it's the tool that we have at this moment. It's not a perfect tool. I agree.
Yeah, thank you. I asked that question more to bring out that point rather than to get a definite answer.
Okay.
And number two, just a minute. I have another second.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. And this one comes out of the problem you have in agriculture. I remember working with a group of farmers in the cockpit country.
Yeah.
And we came to discuss how they grow yams. I asked how many of you use Yam Hill? And everybody's hand was up. How many of you know of the mini set technology? And everybody's hand went up. How you knew about it, rather told us about it. Which one is more productive? Oh, everybody says the mini set. Mini set, you get whole leaf per acre, much, much more than Yam Hill. So why are you still using Yam Hill? As a businessman, you should be trying to get the best return. One man at the back got up and said, well, you see, sir, we are farmers, not businessmen. So with
that
you can change that mindset.
Yeah, that perfectly illustrates the challenge in agriculture right now.
Okay, thanks for that, Damo. Before I go to the IP, well, I can't remember how to put it now, but IPP Newton. I just want to say something. That figure that you quoted, Mr. One, it's a ceiling. So it's not. It doesn't say you. I mean, you're going right down. It's not. I'm not sure. The question that Damo posed. I mean, the 426 million is a cap.
Yes,
but you're working at much lower levels. So wouldn't that incorporate some of those stages that he was concerned about?
Yeah, the range is from $1 a year to 426. Anything inside that.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Newton, IPP Newton, your time.
All right, thank you, DP Stewart. Mr. One, my contribution is more of a statement than a question, so I'll be quick. One of the things I think they need to do is change the way they decide who gets the funding. For example, from my own personal experience, I remember leaving my job, opening a business, thinking I have collateral, I have a house, I can put up and all of that. And the bank telling me that if I don't have 3 years audited financial statements for the business or show some other stream of income, they can't lend me the money to finance the operation of the business. Yeah. And yet still, before I leave that meeting, the loans manager is telling me that, but if I wanted $5 million to borrow to buy a car, they can approve it immediately.
Yes.
And to me, something is just skewed there. It is easier to borrow money to buy a car than to borrow money to fund a business. And I just think that they need to change. How is it that they decide who gets funding from who doesn't?
Yeah, I've heard that complaint too. A lot of the banks, I think, see the automobile as a good risk because they can get a lien on it. They know you're working, you have a regular paycheck, you can get a payroll deduction. I've heard many stories about that, and we need to lobby our like the Bankers Association and the Bank of Jamaica need to hear our voices on that. it should be much easier to get a loan to, you know, do your working capital for your business, provided it's a sound business, you know. So it should be. We have a ways to go on that. We need to change our outlook on especially, you know, the banks, who are great partners for us nonetheless. But
let me ask DP Newton. Let me ask IPP Newton. So you're just speaking to the bank, but not necessarily asking about a DBJ loan, though. Not necessarily,
loan.
right?
No,
just banking.
But the reason I brought it up is because I know I heard somewhere in Mr. Wan's presentation where he said that the DBJ does funnel money through to the final borrower through the commercial banks.
Yes,
it's certainly right.
No.
So I'm just saying that there should be something set where the commercial bank, well, you know, the commercial banks triple insulate themselves. So I think the DBJ might be able to influence them looking more at, is this a viable project, rather than how can I triple insulate myself?
Well, maybe based on his presentation, maybe I could remind you though, that's where the capacity building money could come in. Your problem was you weren't able to produce the requisite number of years of financial statements. So Mr. Wan says that DBJ will help you to up to 70% of the cost.
Yeah.
To get those your stuff in order. So that's one avenue to help.
Well, the problem with that, DP Joe, is that I had collateral, but they didn't want the collateral. They wanted you to show income. So you had to have income even though you had collateral.
Yeah, but there's no collateral.
You say if you can't show them the income, they don't know if you can pay back the loan.
Exactly.
It's just a banking thing.
That's the key. That's the key.
Even though you have assets that they could hold, but they don't want to go take a house.
They never want to take away your house. You should
Right.
have
So it's easier. It was easier to just tell you no.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's a case of income not there to service the debt.
Yes.
Okay, I don't see any more hands up.
I'd like to follow up on the conversation just now. So David, this is Paulette. How are you?
Oh, fine, thanks. How about you?
I'm good, thank you.
All
but
right.
if you speak about startups, they would not have 3 years of books of records.
You're correct. They wouldn't have 3 years of records.
So again, there is that gap as it relates to startup businesses, which is where we want to go with production, with agro-processing, with greenhouse and all of those things, greenhouse farming and those things, because some young people want to do that kind of a agricultural farming business, but they have these wonderful ideas. They don't start as yet, and that's where the gap is with regards to financing and funding of capital for their businesses.
All right, let me tell you what we're doing about that.
Yes.
The credit guarantee program that we have. You can be in business for 1 year. And if you have a project that is sound, that can spin off money each month to pay the debt service, and the bank is asking for any collateral, we can come in with collateral support in terms of the guarantee, right? But I suspect if you speak to the bank, about this, they will be willing to look at, you know, the fact that you're less than 3 years in business, but we can offer the credit guarantee. They might be willing to waive that requirement of the 3 years in financial statements, because you don't have it. You only have 1 year.
So it's about educating the populace or that sector on these areas. So it's something to explore.
Correct. And then also I mentioned the venture capital fund we just established with over 2 billion Jamaican dollars, that we are now looking for companies that want us to invest in shares, not debt. And we know that you're a startup, so it's going to be much less stringent in terms of what records you have. But it's a venture capital fund. We know that you're just starting.
Okay,
So,
thank you very much.
yeah.
Okay. There's someone that has a TV on in the background. I'm not sure which one it is. I didn't want to just close the mic. So if you recognize yourself, could you please attend to that for me? Okay. I don't see any more hands up. I think President Stephen, you may want to call on
Yes.
the thank you
Okay.
part. Okay.
Yes. So the thank you and the gratitude for thank you, Doc. I need to call you Dr. Wan, Mr. David Wan. Thank you for your presentation. But to formally thank you on behalf of Kingston Club of Kingston, we have DP Dalma, who would like to move the vote of thanks. DP Dalma.
Thank you, President Stephen. Dr. Wan, it's really a pleasure of mine to thank you for the wonderful presentation you gave us this evening. You gave us a lot of very useful and educational information. We all have a definition of what's a small business and what you include and some of what you would like to include, but you don't find it practical to do. Personally, I'm happy to know that you have a venture capital available for small businesses, and hopefully a lot of startups will be able to use it. Even though you're talking about small business, we realize that you're able to put in some big public-private sector information so that we know that you can also go big. And you really put in a little plug for DBJ. We thank you very much for your presentation, and we are much happier and much more knowledgeable because you took the time to spend this evening with us. So on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, I truly thank you for your presentation this evening. We have a certificate which we hope you'll find someplace on your crowded wall. And it's really a token of our appreciation for you being here this evening with us, and to show you that we really appreciate the time you took to be here with us. And once again, on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston and all the persons online who heard your presentation, thank you.
You are most welcome, and I will liaise with President Stephen to collect the certificate.
Certainly.
For sure. Well deserved, well deserved.
Thank you, and I wish everybody a good evening.
Yes.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
And let's see what's on the debate now, so we can see what
Competing attention.
That's right.
Yes, it will
Okay.
be repeated. Thank you again.
Sure.
David.
Bye now.
Bye. Take care.
Okay.
All
bye.
right. I saw VP or new VP Zuri Johnson on earlier. Zuri, are you there? He is our Sergeant at Arms.
I am.
There. Over to you.
Good evening to my Kiwanis family, and happy Kiwanis New Year. So I looked at the agenda this evening, and at Sergeant of Arms, I still see my name. So I'm guessing they're giving me a chance to redeem myself from last. All right. So we're going to be doing some percentages, seeing that it's the start of the year, to just kind of, gather our information to see how we'll go through the year. We're going to call this a dress rehearsal. So it is said that 69% of people find something dirty in every sentence. The hurricane said to the coconut tree, hold on to your nuts. This is no ordinary blowjob. What percentage are you in? So it's the new year. We're going to treat this as blanket. So everybody, you're going to come in and you're going to have a fine of $500. This is your insurance for the year. That way, if you never get called on again, you know that you paid a charge. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you very much, Sarge. VP
Well, we'll find him.
Yes. Do I have the power to find him, or I have no power?
Oh, yes, you do. You're the only one who can find him.
As this is the first meeting, I want to start on a good foot. So I will just I will just thank him for his service, and we will see how the rest of the year pans out. But thank you, VP Zuri, for your contribution. We're now going to quickly move on to notices and announcements. I'll just take the opportunity, DLG Gerthlin mentioned it earlier, to extend, to tell everybody to extend prayers to DG Trevor Dunn, and also to advise you that distinguished President Lloyd Barnett is also on the mend. From what I heard last time, he's out of hospital, so you can continue him in your prayers that he is back on a full course to recovery. With that said, DLG Willie, is there any notices or announcements as well as interclub opportunities? You can merge everything into one.
Thank you, President Stephen. Just a few announcements. Our next Christmas Ball Planning Committee meeting that is scheduled for Thursday, the 11th of October by President-elect President-elect Garfield Wynn. So save that date. Of course, we know that our Christmas Ball is planned for Saturday, December the 7th. At the Pegasus Hotel. Closer to home now, more interclubbing opportunities. Let me just start off with ours. Ours is a joint installation between Young Professionals, St. Andrew, 23 Central Surrey Online, and Nation Builders. That is on Saturday, October the 5th at 4 p.m. Cost $3,000. So, fellow Kiwanis, we are expecting to see all of you, and in particular the officers and directors, where you will be receiving your certificate of election, and you'll be pinning with your officer pin. So, fellow Kiwanis, please do make every effort to attend our joint installation. Other interclubbing opportunities tomorrow, I must especially mention this one. This one is the installation of West Kiwanis Club West St. Andrew. And that is at the Summit. The Summit is on Chelsea Avenue, and that starts at 6 p.m. Cost $6,000 if you're dining, but if you're not, 50-50 is $1,000. Now, I have promised President Claudine, she has purchased 6 tickets so far for our joint installation. So what do we have to do, Kiwanis? Reciprocate and attend their installation tomorrow. On the 3rd, that's Thursday coming, Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrew, their installation is at the Police Officers Club, 6:30 p.m. Their cost is $6,000. And then the last one I have noted here is on the 13th of October, which is Sunday, and is a brunch, Kiwanis Club, Constant Spring, and Young Professionals, Kingston. And that is, cost is $5,000. And further down in the month, just to mention, particularly save this one, this is a very important date in our Kiwanis calendar every year, is the Kiwanis One Day. And we normally celebrate it by carrying out a project. President Stephen, those are all the notices and interclubbing opportunities for now. You may want to ask any visiting club if they have any announcements to do so now. They want to remind us of the interclubbing opportunities. Thank you.
I will. Thank you very much, DLG Willie, who continues in the office of secretary, and we are most appreciative of that. Yes, as DLG mentioned, any other clubs would like to make an announcement? Do you have a ready audience of any activities going on in your clubs? Now is the time. Is there any club here? Go ahead.
If I may, IPP here. Yes, Kiwanis Club of Trafalgar is inviting everyone to our installation of officers, directors on the 23rd of October, Wednesday, the 23rd of October, and that will be held at Arden High School. The cost will be coming shortly. All right, fun and frolic, everything would be nice. So come out. All right, it's a gold and black affair.
Oi.
All right, looking forward to seeing you all.
Indeed, indeed.
We'll see you on Saturday as well, Pansita.
Yes, definitely,
All right,
definitely,
Hello.
definitely.
All right, thank you, IPP's Pansito. Any other clubs wishing to make an announcement? Now is the time.
Yes.
Going once? I think I see Naja. Go ahead, Naja.
Yes, good evening once again, everyone. So the Kiwanis Club of Pepino will be having their installation ceremony on the third Thursday of this month. That's October 17th, and it will be online. So there's no cost attached. We
Okay.
invite you and we hope to see you there.
All right. That's Kiwanis Club of Pepino. Everybody please try and make an effort to attend that installation also. Okay, still
Well,
a
good evening again. One final
go
one.
ahead,
Thank
Garfield.
you.
Go
Yes.
ahead.
Kiwanis Club of St. Andrew Southern Professionals Online will be having their installation on October 20th, and this is at the UCC. It's the main lecture theater there, and the cost is 6,500. So come on out, we'd like persons to join.
6,500.
Yes.
Okay.
October 20th.
October 20th. Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Any other clubs wishing to make announcements? Now is the time. Going once.
I have an additional thing to say. Sorry about that. It's at 5
go ahead.
p.m. Okay, so it's October 17th at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay.
Kiwanis Club of Pepino installation, October 17th, 5 p.m.
Okay, got it. All right. If there's no more announcements, I'm gonna ask DP Marcel to share with us a thought for the week before we conclude the meeting. DP Marcel, are you there?
Yes, here we go. Here we
Okay.
go. Yes, I have been in the set position. Here we go. Don't waste words on people who deserve your silence, and refrain from engaging in futile arguments. Have a good evening, all.
Good evening. Good evening. Food for thought. Well said. Well said. So, ladies and gentlemen, almost concludes our formal meeting. Before I terminate, there's a special item that I'd like to share with you, but we'll do it exactly after we have terminated the meeting. The essence of it is a video that I'd like to share with you. It speaks to what we want to achieve as a Kiwanis Club of Kingston here in Jamaica. It speaks to community, it speaks to pride, it speaks to nationalism, and all those things. Some of you may have seen the video before, but I just thought it was an apt video to share with you because it was going to set the tone as to what we want to achieve, not only at Kingston, but as a Kiwanis movement and as Jamaicans. This is what we should be living and striving for. So as the meeting is over, don't run away. We have a special item that's coming up post-meeting. So with that said, I thank everybody, especially the board members and the Kiwanis Club of Kingston members who have attended this evening. We had a really good turnout. Thanks again to our guest speaker, Mr. David Wan, who shared his insight on businesses and opportunities in Jamaica. And look forward to your attendance at our next meeting. We're going to try and make ourselves, remember our installation is Saturday, and our club members will also try and make it to the various other installations that are going on this year as we usher in the new administration for various Kiwanis clubs. So on that note, I would like us to raise a glass, those of you who have glasses, and wish a toast to Kiwanis International and Jamaica Land.